Sometimes in the course of routing lean data records, previously routed records will get picked up by your live routing graph, or maybe get sent through your scheduled routing graphs. And these records will re-enter the graph and may get assigned to the same person. Now, if your logic doesn't change and your data doesn't change on your records, it's very possible that a record will go through the graph on subsequent occasions and end up assigned to the exact same person. Now, typically, this wouldn't have any impact, except in the cases where you have a notification sent out or some corresponding action. So in these cases, you may be notifying the current owner of a record that they have already received previously. So if they're receiving for the first time, it makes sense to have that notification. But if the record gets reactivated, they don't need a notification the second time that they receive the record or the third time. So if the owner is the same, then we want to prevent this notification from happening. So how do we do that? Well, what we have here is a very simple graph. And when existing records get re-engaged, they're sent to this phone inquiry check, and that's sent to Lorraine, and then Lorraine receives that, and then she gets a notification. Now, the issue is if Lorraine already owns that record, we do not want to notify her. So how do we accomplish that? Well, we can do this with variables, and all we need is a way to store the previous owner in a variable, and then that way we can compare the previous owner to the new owner. And if they're the same person, then we can end the routing at that point and not proceed to the notification. So let's go ahead and make some space here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this node up. And then I'm going to pull in a set variable node. And I'll go ahead and name this one store previous owner. Okay, then I will create a variable here called previous owner. And all we're going to do here is grab a user. Actually, I need to select an object first, so let's do that. And then we'll find the user object. There it is. And then for that user, it will capture, it's going to be the current, or in this case, previous owner of the record. So I'll insert, I'll select the routed lead, and then I'll look for the owner field. Then I'll get the ID of that owner, and then I'll hit done. Now, this set variable node that stores the previous owner, that has to occur before we make the assignment. So at either one of these two branches, we could place it there or there. I'm just going to put it at the very beginning, and that makes it such that we can use this variable anywhere after this point. So I'm going to put it right there and connect that. So now we store the previous owner, and what I need to do is create a decision node that we will check after we make the assignment to ensure that the previous owner is not the same as the new owner. So I'm going to pull in a true-false decision node. Okay. And we are going to connect it there. And I'll name this check for same owner. And we'll use the logic rule. And I want to look at the routed lead owner ID. And I want to compare that to see if that is equal. And then I'll select a variable here. And that's just the previous owner. All right. And if they are equal, if that's true, I want to end the flow. So we will not proceed to notifying if the previous owner is the same as the new owner. But if that's not true, then we do want to notify. So let's go ahead and connect this to the send notification node. We'll click done, and there we have it. So now when records get re-engaged, we will store the previous owner. And then once we assign that to Lorraine, we'll first check to see if Lorraine was also the previous owner. And if so, we will not proceed to the notification. But if they are different, then we will go ahead and send the notification. I hope that helps.